Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My distinguished brothers, the President of Azerbaijan, the President of Turkmenistan, a very good morning to both of you. Thank you for accepting to have this three-way summit. First, let me express great thanks for the initiatives that both Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan have taken in relationship to the connectivity for Afghanistan and for the region. President Aliyev, you started in the Chicago conference with the concept of the Northern Route. The wisdom of that approach now is bearing fruit in multiple ways, and I'd like to thank you for the investments that you've made in Georgia, in Turkey, and across Azerbaijan. The distinguished President of Turkmenistan convened a set of meetings to take the leadership on regional connectivity and transport, and I particularly like to thank him for extending the railway to two dry ports in Afghanistan, first the port of Aqina and then the port of Torahundi. This, particularly Torahundi, has allowed us a straight line to Azerbaijan. I'd like to thank both of you for your support for the Lapis Lazuli corridor, which is a transformative program and would be the key subject of our discussion today, so that we could have spoken individually to each of you, and you've spoken to each other. It's time to really translate this. I'd like to congratulate President Aliyev for hosting the Non-Aligned Summit meeting on COVID. You took the leadership and all of us participated. It's been an important, and of course all of us stand to support the stand of the non-aligned movement vis-a-vis COVID, both at the UN Security Council and related issues. And I'd like to thank President of Turkmenistan, President Berdi Muhammadov, for very fast decisions on ensuring that the flow of goods through Turkmenistan was continuous, uninterrupted, and then for assistance with two major laboratories for testing in two of our border points. The issues that I'd like to highlight are energy, transit, trade, and investment in the context of the Lapis Lazuli corridor. Let me welcome the suggestions first, because this has been a very practical meeting, highly relevant. So the first thing is to welcome President Aliyev's suggestion, backed by President Berdi Muhammadov, that we form a joint task force at the level of heads of transport and other relevant ministries from the three countries. We welcome this very much. The second was a five-point agenda that the distinguished President of Turkmenistan outlined. We accept this, and I'll have some additional suggestion on this. The third area would be the 9 agreements that Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan have agreed to, the implementation mechanisms through a well laid down sequential, and fourth would be to get the Lapis Lazuli corridor as the overarching umbrella to move forward. What I'd like to add with your agreement is that if we could agree that the joint group reports to us three, to the three presidents, every quarter, because that way, if there are issues that require attention at the level of leadership, we can deal with them quickly and move forward, so that work at the level of bureaucracies does not stop. If I may, with your permission, highlight some issues now from the perspective of Afghanistan that are in complete alignment. The first issue is transit, and we would like to again express great gratitude, President Aliyev, to you and to President Berdi Mohammed. Both Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan are emerging as regional hubs. So our first issue is that we would like to have a name for us that Baku and the port, the custom facilities around the Caspian become our ports of choice for Afghanistan. We would like to get our traders to focus on imports through Baku and through Turkmenbashi. For this, we welcome greatly arrangements where either Afghan traders or jointly the Afghan state and traders will invest or rent the facilities. So it becomes a predictable arrangement for us. Second is rail. Rail has proven its value during the corona because transport by trucks, while important, rail has really been our lifeline. So to have tariffs that are predictable and movements will allow us to expand trade via rail in important ways. We would like to implement the TIR that you've advanced very much and to build on your experience. On customs, we would very much like to have alignment. Azerbaijan's leadership, Turkmenistan's, in terms of this, an exchange of information through the Asakuda system is crucial to enable us. We have an investment, which is, again, I'll come later to. We are creating dry ports through 8 locations in Afghanistan. And President Aliyev, particularly for your attention, the Finance Development Corporation of the United States is now willing and ready to work with us to offer guarantees. So I will highlight this. And in these regards, the 2 ports of Aqina and Turagundi are ready. We are ready to move forward either through joint cooperation, both with the private sector of Azerbaijan, in Turkmenistan, and with the public sector. Second, we've developed a very important trade in energy. And our goal is to create an energy corridor from Azerbaijan to Afghanistan and potentially expand it to Pakistan and India, along the lines of what we are doing with TAPI till TAPI gets completed. And what is interesting for us is that the type of our energy purchases are complementary, not competitive. We get oil from Azerbaijan, and we get diesel and natural gas from Turkmenistan. President Aliyev, under your directions, SOCAR had signed an agreement with us, implementation of those for your directions, in making sure that the flow from Azerbaijan through Turkmenistan gets predictable. For your information, again, in the past, our oil used to be bought through our agreement with the United States. This has been transferred to on budget to us, so we would like to really speed it up and make it predictable. And in this environment, of course, our 2 brotherly countries, Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan, are our priorities. So we'd like to have concrete movement on this. TAPI and TAP, President Aliyev, is an energy transmission line from Turkmenistan to Afghanistan to Pakistan, and a Turkish firm has made a commitment of 1.3 billion. But along this, what my dear brother President Berdi Mahamadov suggested, we would like to have the fiber optics corridor. Linking Azerbaijan to this fiber optics corridor would literally change the face of interactions between South Asia, Central Asia, Caucasus, and Europe, and including China. We're cooperating, so it's a very important adjustment to be taken. If we bundle these, the energy demand that we have and the supply that you have, I think we could be talking about a very predictable volume of business that would enable us to handle the question of tariffs and efficiency in terms of not just scope, but the scale of it, which is crucial for us. In terms of our trade, our requests, I brought it to the attention of both of our distinguished brothers. Afghanistan produces 40 varieties of marble, and particularly the province of Herat has the Carrera quality white marble. This corridor will invite both, in order to have to your specifications, both Azeri and Turkmen private firms to joint venture with us. We would be able to award contracts very rapidly to make sure, but predictability of this will be ideal both because both Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan are consumers, and the range of colors is amazing, and we'd sent some samples before. Equally, President Aliyev and President Berdi Mahamadov, we focused on complementarity of our agricultural. There are seasons where Afghanistan can meet both the needs of Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan, and that would allow us to joint venture on processing and standards so that the very demanding Azeri and Turkmen consumer tastes are met. We have programs of bringing 1.4 million hectares of new land under cultivation. And just in southern and western Afghanistan, again, province of Herat, 6 billion cubic meters of water are being harnessed, and inshallah would be completed within the next 3 years, which gives us. And this will also open up the corridor further towards Pakistan and towards India. The last point in this agenda is investment. As I highlighted, the Development Finance Corporation, head of it, was in the region. Because of COVID, he could not come, but we had a very detailed discussion. The United States is now really ready to help with provision of guarantees. And we've highlighted a number of issues. The Asian Development Bank is also interested, and I think we would be able, as part of the November forthcoming Geneva conference, to broaden the agenda to guarantees. So we can get, as you said, European Union is interested. European Union, President Aliyev is very interested in the connectivity agenda. It's important, and they will become a very significant player with us. For your information, also on transport, Afghanistan has made a decision now to adopt the Russian gauge as its dominant railway gauge. And because of this, we have the largest unexplored iron mine in the world, and in the Herat region, again, large numbers of iron mines that can be done because the cost of railways, we would need to build around 4,000 to 6,000 kilometers of railway to really integrate the region. But making sure that we have an agenda regarding both quality and costs, we propose to work both with private firms and others, but here is an important agenda. And this would go to the entire construction sector that we have discussed. If you could instruct your ministers to work with us on the investment portfolio, we'll be able to then go with joint proposals. ADB, again, I've informed my distinguished brother, the President of Turkmenistan, is helping us meet the cost of our share to TAPI, to the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. Transmission lines are again becoming really important in this discussion, and we are cooperating. So to conclude this part, I think I strongly endorse the suggestions that were made as mechanisms, and if directions were interested, in addition to the flows of transit and trade, to equally cover investments in the future, Afghanistan would be delighted to work. In terms of COVID, again, thank you for the opportunities and support. Azerbaijan, again, thank you for sending a supply that the people of Afghanistan greatly appreciate. Turkmenistan for building those. But the most crucial help that you've given, and we are highlighting this in all international meetings and organizations, is the uninterrupted flow of trade. This has been a lifeline, and it's crucial to continue this, and I hope that the curves will be coming down. In the next 2 weeks, we are at a point where the direction of whether COVID is going to come down or continue in a steady or upward trend, we will know within the next 2 weeks. The surveys with the Johns Hopkins methodology are continuing. My last observation, you mentioned peace, and we are very much engaged in the work on peace. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Atmar, is going to be convening a meeting of 18 neighbors near and far as part of a regional approach so that we can inform and ask for your support. I'd like to thank you continuously for engagement with Afghanistan, for support, both morally and materially. Our futures are tied together, and this mechanism of trilateral meeting, I think, would allow us, and once we've solved these issues, further looking towards both Turkey and Georgia would be important possibilities, because the corridor really is immense potential. So once again, thank you for accepting this meeting with your very busy schedules. And if you agree to the follow-up mechanism, or if you would have any additional comments, of course, President Aliyev.